Do you guys want multiple NFL draft videos each and every single day until the 2023 NFL draft gets underway? If you do, hit that sub button, all for free, right now. Today's NFL mock draft is a 3-rounder from Todd McShay and Mel Kiper going back and forth. Mel Kiper got the first pick, then Todd McShay got the evens and all the way through. It's a combo mock. Kiper has Bryce Young at number 1 overall to the Carolina Panthers. That one, the odds have skyrocketed. I got him in a little bit earlier, so I feel good about that bet. CJ Stroud is now the uncertain number 2. A lot of buzz in recent days, maybe a week or two now, that Houston might take Will Anderson or Tyree Wilson instead and not take CJ Stroud. And that would be it would throw some chaos into the draft. There were no trades in this mock draft, although in the event that Anderson goes 2 or the Texans trade down, there could be some real chaos with quarterbacks. So will the Texans pick a quarterback at number 2? Y for yes and for no in the comment section. Cardinals then take the best defensive player with the non-off-the-field concerns. Will Anderson out of Alabama, no surprise there. Anthony Richardson goes number 4 overall here to the Indianapolis Colts. I will also make note that the Kiper McShay kind of tag team it in terms of some of what they think they will do, some of what they would do. So we'll just do it based on like if it actually happened in terms of how we react to it. Jalen Carter, number 5. Duh. As long as you trust the off the field, that's a home run pick there for Seattle. Tyree Wilson, next off the board here to the Detroit Lions. He goes number 6. Fun fit alongside Aiden Hutchinson, Lee McNeil, etc., etc. So quarterbacks early. 3 of the first 4 picks, nothing entering pick number 7, which could very well happen. Now, we told you already, we're going to be live for the NFL draft here on Chat Sports. Will you be watching with us? Will you be tuned into our live coverage? Type in D for duh, of course I will, or L for, you're going to be lame. Maybe you have children responsibilities. That's understandable, of course. But go comment. D for duh, L for lame with the pinned comment of today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage. Head down there. Let me know. I like the Devon Witherspoon fit to the Las Vegas Raiders here. They need a corner. I've got him as my number 1 guy. No complaints there. Same with Christian Gonzalez going number 8 overall out of Oregon to the Falcons. Even after already trading for Jeffrey Okudah, maybe edge makes more sense, but I'm fine with that selection. Peter Skoronski goes number 9 to the Chicago Bears. I wonder if maybe Broderick Jones or even Darnell Wright could be a better fit for what the Bears like in their offensive linemen. Todd McShay at pick 10. Bijan Robinson to the Philadelphia Eagles. This one kind of it read more like it's what McShay would do because Bijan is apparently McShay's number 2 prospect. So he says, which I'm pretty sure is a change from the last time McShay put out a big board. So, okay. But I would be shocked if Philadelphia went back at number 10. Don't rule out Atlanta taking Bijan either. Next, quarterback Will Levis is off the board. That's one of Mel Kiper's favorite prospects, so no surprise he's the one who took him there. Will Levis, the selection here at number 11. I would not rule out, and again, it's always the projection, right? I wouldn't be shocked if the Titans moved up for a quarterback, potentially even specifically one Will Levis. Now, today's show is sponsored by Z-Biotics. Let's face it, after y'all hit me with a bunch of super chats, I don't always bounce back too well the next day, and I'm going to need this for our draft coverage, I promise you. And that was the case until I found Z-Biotics, not bouncing back well the next day, you know? Z-Biotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. So here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. And it's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Z-Biotics makes an enzyme to break this byproduct down. It's designed to work just like your liver does, but in your gut where you need it the most. So drink Z-Biotics before alcohol. Drink responsibly, please and thank you, and get a good night's sleep to feel your best tomorrow. Give Z-Biotics a try for yourself. Go to zbiotics.com/chatsports to get 15% off your first order when you use code chatsports at checkout. ZBiotics has a 100% money-back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, it's zbiotics.com/chatsports and use code chatsports for 15% off at checkout. Thank you to ZBiotics for sponsoring today's show. That link and promo code are in the comment section and the description. Houston pairs C.J. Stroud with Jaxon Smith-Njigba. Doesn't that make sense for Houston? Then trying to do like Will Anderson and Will Levis. Doesn't that make more sense? That's just me, though. Broderick Jones. I think this makes sense, too, if he's there. To the Jets. Really good athlete. We'll wait and see if it's when. I think it's still Aaron Rodgers at QB. Paris Johnson Jr. to New England. Now, we'll figure out where you put Trent Brown, but Johnson's got some position flex there. This does feel like a very Patriots pick to me. Dalton Kincaid as the first tight end off the board. Seems like the back is okay. We'll know if that's just the agent saying it is or if it's actually true based on where he goes. But he's the best pure pass catcher at tight end in this year's class. Darnell Wright. I do think the Commanders like him. Andrew Wiley could play some guard. I think Wright could play some guard too. Very curious where he ends up going. He could go earlier than most expect. Now, I will say that when Mel Kiper took Zay Flowers, number 17 overall, to the Pittsburgh Steelers, the article and the picks were up before the Allen Robinson trade from earlier Tuesday. But the update article was, the Steelers could still need a wide receiver, so I'm going to stick with Zay Flowers. Code for we weren't redoing the entire thing, so we're sticking with Zay Flowers. Sorry, Steelers fans. I don't think that's the pick they'll make. Corner would make more sense instead, so we could pretend that, I don't know, the Steelers took a corner, maybe a Minnesota or the Giants took a receiver. So we'll get to them in a little bit here. But first, Kalijah Kancey, number 18. The Lions get an impact 3 technique. So you got the undersized DT in Kancey and the massive human in Tyree Wilson, defensive end for Detroit. Lucas Van Ness off the board here, number 19. I actually don't love his fit in the 3-4 defense. I think he'd be better as a base defensive end in a 4-3, but is he a stand-up edge? I don't know. It's probably fine as a good enough athlete. Nolan Smith is there. Why did the Bucs take Nolan Smith? Seattle ends up with Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith. That is an unbelievable haul if it were to go down that way. He is an undersized pass rusher, but he's an awesome football player. Seattle gets that class. Back-to-back years, I'm over the moon with what Seattle's done for the first time in ever. Jordan Addison, number 21 here. He gets you some speed, stays in the L.A. area. Emmanuel Forbes goes number 23 here to the Ravens. He's a playmaking but super skinny corner. Producer Patrick dies of happiness if Joey Porter Jr. falls number 23 to his Vikings. I think JPJ is closer to being a top 10 player than an outside the top 20 player. Hot take, I don't know. Michael Mayer off the board to the Jacksonville Jags here, which, by the way, Todd McShay regretted as it's to pick number 26. We'll get to that here in a little bit. But Mayer to Jacksonville, hey, move on from England after a year. Deonte Banks, number 25 to the Giants. He'd be a great fit in what Don Martindale wants to do on defense. Quentin Johnston is the pick here out of TCU, the wide receiver. Mel and Tyler saying it's a little early. But is it? I'm not so sure that it is. It gets them a big-bodied receiver, which they don't truly have right now on the roster. The Bills take the first linebacker, Trenton Simpson, who can plug in as the replacement for Tremaine Edmonds in theory. And then Todd McShay at pick 28 makes the most shocking pick of the draft. Julius Brents, number 28 overall. A first-round pick out of corner would be a massive surprise, and even Todd says it would be. I feel like Mel went with what he would do, or what he thinks teams will do, and Todd went with what he would do. And now Julius Brents is super high on his own board, and he says he just moved to 27 on his board, 20th overall pick. Again, I guess Todd made changes behind the scenes, and we're in April, and that's really weird. When you're an ESPN guy and you've done this is your only job. But Brent skyrockets, and I guess he'd be a sleeper round 1 pick. So with that in mind, name a sleeper round 1 pick. I would be pretty shocked if Brent went in the first round, but weird things tend to happen there. So drop that prospect name for me in the comment section. The Saints go with Brian Brzee, the defensive tackle out of Clemson. There's upside, makes it worthwhile there. Philadelphia gets Myles Murphy. If you promise Bijan and Murphy, it's a home run class for Philadelphia, and I would almost say maybe flip them makes more sense there. And Will McDonald by Mel Kiper rounds out round 1 here. I don't mind him back into round 1. He's a very different player than George Karlaftis, so you're kind of fitting different boxes, from that standpoint in terms of how everything blends together for the Chiefs and the defensive line there. So wraps up with 3 straight defensive players in round 1, and I really like what they did for Philadelphia and Seattle in particular in the first round. Now, this NFL draft, or mock draft, I should say, first aired on our NFL Draft YouTube channel. So go subscribe, youtube.com/chatNFL, so you guys don't miss out on any of our just massive NFL draft coverage over there. So round 2, and then we'll get to round 3 here in a little bit. We'll go faster since there's 2 rounds to go here. Brian Branch, that's a home run pick for the Steelers, man. That's such a good outcome there. Keon White's a little early, but pass rush is a huge need, so it's fine. I think DJ Turner could be a fun little surprise first-round pick. Cardinals need help there. Osiris Torrance is a mauler, one of my favorite guys. Branch and Osiris Torrance, if they're on the board in round 1 or in round 2, would probably be my 2 best players left on the board. Not that far behind him would be Felix Anudike-Uzomah, the edge out of Kansas State. He goes to the Rams. I like that one. Hendon Hooker at 37. Hey, it's a lot better than the other mock draft that we saw that had the Seahawks giving up 2 seconds to get the first-round pick for Hooker. I don't love him in round 2, but it's much more palatable at 37 than, even 27 as far as I'm concerned. Love the Raiders getting Steve Avila here out of TCU. Instant starter of the offensive line. They need that. Jalen Hyatt. I'm fine with this one. You spend a first-round pick on a quarterback, add more playmakers. There's some speed for Bryce Young, who, he's pretty good another speedy guy in Jameson Williams at Alabama. Back-to-back tight ends, then two straight Jets picks here. Excuse me. Luke Musgrave to the Saints makes perfect sense. Big upside player, but he's not a finished product yet. I love Darnell Washington. I'm a huge fan of his game. Tennessee, though, already has Chigo Okonkwo, and it was acted like he doesn't exist on the Tennessee roster. So this was Mel's pick. Remember, it was the odds are for Mel, evens are for Todd McShay. Darnell, love the player, doesn't make sense. And by the way, when Mel was doing the description, he mentioned the Saints a defensive tackle in round 1. There is a very real chance that Mel thought he was picking for the Saints here. Like the line is, I gave the Saints a defense tackle in round 1. I thought about a tight end. Now let's snag a tight end. I'm pretty sure that Mel thought he was picking for the Saints here, and nobody caught it. No one caught it. Blows my mind. Jets took Joe Tippmann. That makes sense. Adetomiwa Adebawore, kind of in the Solomon Thomas mold, so I get what the Jets are going for there. I just think he's got to play on the interior, not so much on the edge. So day 2, it's always some great players you find in that range. Who is your favorite day 2 pick? Try to make it a real day 2 player, not like I think he's a sneaky first-round pick, like obvious day 2 guy. So you can't really, I don't think Brian Branch does not count. Who's your favorite day 2 prospect? Sound off for me in the comment section. The Jonathan Mingo hype continues to be real, which is I got other. There's very few big receivers, but I think that pushes up Mingo too high there. B.J. Ojolari makes a lot of sense for Green Bay. Love that pick. Tyreek Stevenson had some size at corner, so that's a fit for the Patriots. Keely Ringo, remember the Commanders went Darnell right in round 1. Getting Ringo in round 2, gamble, but it's a worthwhile one there. Everyone just gives all the good players to the Lions. Jahmyr Gibbs at 48. He's going to be a top 30 player for me. Still have him in round 1. Round 2, sure. Maybe move on from DeAndre Swift later. That's fine. Anton Harrison here to the Steelers. You want a better and more athletic left tackle. There you go. Now, DeJuan Jones is a massive human. I think what you would have to do, and it was kind of implied by, this was a McShay pick, keep DeJuan Jones at right tackle, Tristan Wirfs at left tackle. The ESPN boys love Brenton Strange, which it's too early for me, but hey, where's Sam Laporta? Take him instead. Whatever. Jaden Reed out of Michigan State to the Seattle Seahawks. It's a little early for me, Todd, but adding a number 3 receiver does make sense. Mozzie Smith is a nose guard. It fits the Bears' defensive line, although I might actually flip Mozzie and Keanu Benton for the play styles, but both teams looking for some run stopping, so it makes sense. The Lions now get Drew Sanders. So the Lions get 4 guys who have been mocked in round 1 somewhat frequently. Okay. We're just rigging it for Detroit, I guess. Riley Moss to the Jags. Actually, don't mind that one. He's a good size, great athlete at corner. Checks off that box there. Can we play safe? I'm going to play him at corner. John Michael Schmitz to the Giants is a sprint to the podium selection. That is an awesome outcome for New York. Dallas gets a tight end in Sam Laporta, who I think is a top 5 easy tight end in this year's class. Love the Josh Downs fit in Buffalo, so great job there, Mel. Matthew Bergeron to the Bengals. Right tackle option. Give him a year to maybe if you keep Jonah Williams or you trade him, whatever. That's a good fit. Derek Hall, you need pass rush help. Hall can fill it in for Chicago. Don't like Zach Pickens at 62. A 5-star recruit, but never played like it. That raises some red flags there. Mel Kiper continues to go with his last 2-round mock draft, just making the same pick again. That's Marvin Mims there to Oklahoma. Before we get to round 3, shout out your favorite NFL team in the comments section. Who is it? Go have a little war in there for me. Sound off right now.